Hello Internet, it is I, Hewlett. It's a Monday. I thought, what a great way to start the week with a YouTube video. What a novel idea. I mean, it's 2016, right? It's the year of Hewlett on YouTube. And then I was silent for like 3 months or something. But I'm back. Hello. I've been building the VR PC, did that with my son. Amazing process, which I'm going to share with you. I've already shared some of my insights on that with PC Perspectives, sat down with Ryan there, and I've provided them with a few video clips and stuff so you get a sense of what we were up to there. So keep an eye out for that. I will let you know when it appears. I've got the Oculus installed. I'm about to put in the Vive. My son is homesick today. He's going to give me a hand with that. And I will be documenting a lot of that process as well and sharing my findings with you. They are incredible. It truly is another world, and I'm so excited to be delving into that. But that's not what I'm talking to you about today. Today, my friend Q did a Kickstarter. He, and this is his baby, like he did the whole thing. I did, a little bit of voiceover for his video, and I sent out a few tweets sort of in support, but this is his baby, and he's done it. Within 4 days, he has funded his micro kickstarting campaign, as he's calling it. And he and I share this love of the entrepreneurial, and especially when it applies to the internet. So crowdfunding, extremely exciting to me. Lots of possibilities there. I mean, my mind just gets going, and I love this stuff. So I really wanted to talk to him about that and share it with you. The funny thing is we share a lot of interests, Q and I. One of them is not cooking. He loves cooking and the whole culinary side of stuff. I hate it. If there was any way I could not have to eat, like that's why I love the whole Soylent drink thing. Is the idea of a meal replacement in a bottle. I don't have to worry about what I should be putting in my body to make it work properly. Someone else handles that for me. It's done quickly, efficiently, and I don't have to worry about cleanup. Q, on the other hand, this is his baby. Like, he loves this stuff. So I'm going to let him discuss it. He's got this crazy cacao project that he's working on. And so I sat down with him on Thursday to talk about it. And I also, in our chat, I wanted to see if there was some kind of upgrade required element to this, because as always, I'm trying to cram that into it. I love this whole cyborg suit, the idea of extending our senses. And so I talked to him about that as well. So kick back, have a watch, and get involved, because it's fun. I mean, he's on a neat little trip here, and I'm very happy to be in a tiny way a part of it. So enjoy, and until we geek again, cheerio. Hello Internet, it is I, Hewlett, and
Qdragon.
Well, first off, I'm going to say congratulations, man. You're funded.
I know.
You're now like a Kickstarter mogul, man. How you feeling? How's the Kickstarter
Not
doing?
exactly a mogul yet, but yeah, no. So yeah, when was the last time we actually uploaded one of these? It's been a little while.
Who knows? I'm very good at recording them.
Yeah. But yeah, since then, I've kind of got a job in biotech, specifically cellular agriculture, and I'm also doing a unrelated fermentation Kickstarter because I'm not busy enough.
Your Crazy Cacao project, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go back for a second. So talk about this Chief Science Officer position.
Yeah. I have the position of Chief Scientific Officer at a Australian startup, if you can believe, because a few months ago, I guess, I had an idea related to cellular agriculture, and I just wrote a script, and you narrated it.
I did.
And, it didn't really go viral, but it got a few hundred views, and the right people found it. And I ended up in a, Facebook group of cellular agriculture researchers, and met a few people, including my new boss.
That's fantastic. That's the beauty of it. You say it didn't go viral. I mean, the reality is, I think everyone gets so worked up about how many people watch this stuff. It doesn't matter how many people watch it. It's the right people see the stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of the whole YouTube and video thing. So, you are sort of actively doing what right now? What's the?
Right now, it's basically research and planning.
Right. Is this your egg project?
Yes.
But I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, well, again, I can talk about it very generally.
Yes.
Right now we have two projects. One of them is related to eggs, and the cool thing is, basically, the idea behind the egg project is entirely mine.
Right. And the other one is not talked about?
I'm not sure how much I can say.
The other one is a secret Godzilla project of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, again, we can talk about it generally. Not, again, the company I'm with is very, very new. We're just, again, planning and researching at this point.
What is the name of the company?
All right, Seed Launch.
Seed Launch.
Yeah, and there's a website. I can send you the link later.
All right, we should put that. We'll put that link in the description as well. So
yeah, I've got a little bio and everything.
I've got a little bio and everything, as you should. This guy runs. He has like a food chain or something out there.
Yeah, Amit, my CEO, and I am CSO. He is a doctor. I think he just finished like his emergency room rotation for his like medical doctor practicum, and he runs a vegan burger restaurant or chain. I forget how many there are. So
I'll have to check it out next time I'm there. It's Sydney, right? He's in Sydney?
Yeah, yes.
Do you think the stuff that you're working on will end up in the restaurant? Is that the goal?
I mean, no, it's not really the main goal, but eventually, probably.
And then the next thing is you've got this Kickstarter campaign that you're doing, the Crazy Cacao Kickstarter.
Yeah, Cacao Cultured. Again, I'm a bit crazy, so I mean, I had this idea for a while, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna try and do it. So, we've already reached our first goal of $450. Very small, but again, just for a pilot project, and basically just to see if people are interested.
Right. And are you getting comments and stuff? Like when people are making donations and stuff, are they talking to you? Are you getting comments?
Yeah, I've got a few messages, and some people are again, it's mostly a few relatively large donors.
Well, that's great. Even better.
Like some random person gave me $100.
Sweet. Well, that's good, but that's it. That's, again, for this kind of stuff, that's so that guy's just like, or that man or woman has just a quarter funded the project practically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But again, it's like people will spend that on a meal.
Exactly. And it's like, again, those are great, but obviously, a bunch of small ones are also awesome.
Right. I'm one of the small ones.
Right now, there's only one perk.
Right.
And it's for, because basically the campaign, I should probably explain, is for a video series about experiments I'm going to do fermenting foods using fresh cacao as a starter.
As you had me warning people in the video, you're not actually selling the product of these experiments. You're just basically selling first access to seeing how this stuff works and what doesn't work. And it's an interesting. I mean, again, this is another original. This is another Q original, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as I know, because again, raw cacao, which eventually becomes chocolate, has a diverse community of yeast and bacteria that naturally ferment it. So, theoretically, that complex community should create complex fermented products in other applications.
With this one cacao plant, you are able to start those little communities growing and then continue to harvest them, or will you need another cacao?
Yeah, basically, again, it might change over time, but basically I can buy 1 or 2 pods, take that fermenting flesh, put that in a bunch of different things, and then in theory, I can just keep renewing the old batch with, renew new batches of product with some of the old.
Right. So you just keep it going. It's like winemaking or beer making, I guess, as well. Ginger beer, I remember my dad used to do.
Yeah.
So can you give us a hint at what's the stretch goals? Like if you get a little bit more money?
Actually, if you watch the video, there are 2 stretch goals in the video. $660 is to get a friend with a good camera, and I'm basically going to hire her at a very reasonable rate to film and photograph a bunch of this stuff in higher quality.
you'll be upgrading the video quality of it
Yes.
and cover some more stuff.
Yeah, and then 1,000 is the stretch goal after that. Where basically I'm gonna pretty much double up the amount of fermentations I'm doing.
Right. And how will you be doing this stuff? Like you'll have your kitchen all set up for this stuff, or is it?
Yeah, basically get a bunch of big old jugs, probably a mix of plastic and glass and whatever I can find, basically.
Right.
And I'll definitely do apple cider. So basically just buy good quality apple juice, sterilize it, and then introduce some of the cacao.
Right. How long does the process take? Do you know?
I have zero clue.
And then, so how do you even know if it's ready or not? You just like check it every so often, take a taste?
You smell it, you taste it. Does it smell like alcohol? Tastes like alcohol?
Then it's probably alcohol. Are you looking to like create a beer or a...
Yeah, maybe. It depends on how well it does. Or at least maybe talking with someone who does that on a bigger scale and like working with them. I don't know.
You could actually start a new fad. You could be the go-to guy for cacao. Because
I mean, plenty of people are now experimenting with going back to using wild yeast or leaving fermentation open to the air to allow any native microbes or using certain other sources,
which changes the flavors of the food. Then the
yes.
And is it purely? It's not just alcohol though. There's other things you can make with this.
Well, basically, it's yeast and bacteria, so alcohol, sourdough. I might try dairy, but I don't know how that'll work.
What would you do with the dairy? How would that work? How would that
Well,
work?
if there's lactic acid bacteria, then you could add salt and make something like a yogurt or a creme fraiche.
Huh. Do you do any? Have you any interest in cheeses at all? Are you? Is that something that appeals to you?
Yeah, I've made a few cheeses.
Yeah, that's my new love is cheese. I quite like my cheeses. I mean, the whole artisanal take on foods now, the whole sort of local artisanal limited batch stuff is really popular now. So you're probably onto something. You could be onto something quite big here.
Yeah, exactly. Again, just because I had this idea a while ago, and then I read a paper, which is again mentioned in the Kickstarter pitch, about how diverse and complex the communities of microbes are in cacao. So, again, in theory, complexity in the microbial community could equal new flavors and new complexity in whatever product you try and make from it.
So you get 1,000, and you've got a more sort of a better produced series, basically, and some more samples. What you're limited by how many samples you can do by just how much money there is to go around to get the stuff done, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, again, pretty much half the budget, especially with shipping and customs, is going toward the cacao.
Oh, because that's the most expensive part. I see. Right.
Yeah.
And then once you pull it, like once I mean, how do you even store that stuff? Like, what do you do? Is it
again? Once it gets here, it's probably going to be pretty funky and ripe already.
Right.
So I'll probably try and freeze a small sample, but basically most of it is going to end up in something else.
When you freeze this stuff, it's fine. You can it just.
I have to research it, but I believe there's a way to add like glycerol, so it freezes very slowly and preserves.
So it protects it. Interesting. So you put so the glycerol just coats it so that the cells aren't destroyed.
You would mix it right in.
What was that?
I think you would mix it into glycerol.
Huh. So I see. And then so it would slowly freeze. So there isn't the rupture to all the little cell walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And how will you document it? What sort of a process will you take? Like,
again, basically, if I got my first stretch goal, my friend would come over once a week, take photos and pictures of everything, and then I'll basically edit it together into a video with a voiceover.
For updates, things like what it tastes like, how it's smelling.
Well, the first video is going to be like, hey, it arrived.
Right. Yeah, a bit of a letdown if it doesn't. Yeah.
And then the scramble to sort of inoculate all the samples that I want.
Right. And you've got them. You've sort of in your mind at least. You've got them put aside. You're going to do your sourdough. You're going to do your cider.
Again, it also depends on how far into the stretch goals we get.
And how much care and feeding does this thing need? Like once it's inoculated, you just leave it for however long.
Again, basically. Again, it's very hard to judge how long a fermentation is going to take with such small batches. But basically, like a week probably for most of the stuff.
Well then, okay. So let me throw some upgrade stuff at you then. Okay, so again, because I think obviously I'm obsessing about all the little sort of cyborg aspects of this stuff. You could have what kind of sensors could you have in this thing?
You could have.
But I mean,
pH,
obviously temperature.
Yeah, temperature, pH. I'm sure there's an automated sensor for sugar or alcohol content.
Because that would be kind of neat. You'd be able to just check in on your laptop. If you could do that, you could even make it available on the web to the people who've actually put money in. They could actually check in and they could do like literally minute by minute or second by second updates on where the pH levels and the sugar levels are and stuff.
Yeah.
Way down the road, what you saw for yourself was some kind of an automated experimentation lab where you could do this stuff. So I'm just wondering if there's any, maybe that's something we could throw out there to people. If there are people who are doing this kind of stuff who have any suggestions for sensors or ways of rigging up ways that we can sort of, not so much automate it as just make it sort of more accessible without having to sort of get up and look at it every time type thing.
Yeah, that is definitely an option.
You know, the yeast could wake you up in the night to tell you that it's a little cold and it needs to be
Yeah, eventually, if after a few rounds I find that flavors are sort of stabilizing, and in my mind that means at least some of the culture is maintaining its diversity, then I could then get that analyzed by someone.
And the other thing about the sensors as well is if you can then record that information as it goes along, you can make sure that things are on track to the right ends for whatever flavors and stuff you want later down the road. That's really neat. We should we should definitely bring Bob Monroe into this. Bob is our VFX guy, and he's the guy who makes his own cheeses. He's doing his own prosciutto. He had my son salting prosciutto the other day. This is definitely the kind of thing that he'd be interested in. He is trying to grow, gosh, what was it? I want to say artichokes. Maybe it is artichokes, I'm not sure, but it's something that is not an easy grow in Canada and anywhere in Canada. And he set up a little tent with Wi-Fi sensors to make sure that the temperature was right, to make sure that the moisture level was right, and it would automate certain parts of what he was doing. So he might be a good person to talk to on that.
Yeah, and the other thing about this project is if it goes even beyond $1,000, I have tons of other just separate food and fermentation experiments that I want to try out and document.
So potentially this could be an ongoing series of different things. It could also just be a company that specializes in new forms of what would you call it? Inoculated food? What would you call it? What's the?
No, I just call it fermentation.
Fermentation, right?
Because again, it's not all going to be inoculated.
Right. I'm just trying to come up with a cool term that you can patent and have yourself.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's for everybody. You've got the obvious of ciders and beers and no, I guess not. Well, wine, I suppose.
Yeah, I might do a wine kit and then throw out the yeast I give you and try my cacao.
Can you do culture. Gin? Can you do gin or any of the hard stuff?
No, you need to distill. I mean, you could, but
you would distill. So you would ferment it first. You would create something and then
you need to ferment either beer or wine or cider.
Right, and then you would then distill that down. Is that all? I don't know how that stuff works. So
any hard liquor is just something fermented like wine or beer, and then you distill it.
By basically just boiling off everything except the alcohol type thing.
No, you boil off and collect the alcohol.
Oh,
because the alcohol has a lower boiling point.
Oh, of course. Okay, so you're literally. I see. So you're capturing anything that sort of evaporates through the process,
Yes.
gets captured and drips off. So that's the whole. You probably never watched it, but Mash had the whole.
Yeah, that's what distilling is.
Yeah. Okay. It's one of those things. I was very good at drinking it. I wasn't so good about understanding where it came from. Any other crazy projects? What else have you got? What else got in the works?
Is that not enough?
I think that's enough because you've also got to finish school. You got school to do. Not to make you feel guilty.
Let's not talk about that.
Your new caregiver, one of your new caregivers is a chef and was talking about possibly doing a cookbook. Are you helping him out with that?
Yeah. So that's sort of all tied into this eventually.
And have you got him excited about this whole fermentation process?
Not yet, because I was waiting to see if it would actually get funded. But I'm sure he'll be down.
So, and the funding was basically just covers hard costs. It doesn't cover time or...
No.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, then, so you're covered on that. I'll bug people about it again for sure. You know what you should do for a stretch goal? You should just do one beer of some sort. Like do like a McKay beer or something.
What do you mean?
Like a limited edition. Like you make like 6 bottles of this stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know the legality or logistics of mailing internationally a experimental fermented product.
Are you saying that just for legal reasons, or are you?
No, I have no idea. Again, we're funded, and the more stretch goals we get, if you $10 gets you 1 week early access to all of the experiment updates, and you will see those secret experiments first.
Well, and I think more than that, you can be a part of something that is already successful. Like you can be in on the. I know for myself, I'll sometimes like give money to things that have already been funded because I want to be able to say that I'm a part of that. So that's just to the more shallow people watching this, like myself, it's a good. It's fun to be a part of this kind of stuff and be able to say that you are. So,
and I don't have. I only have the one official perk, but like for the people that have given a large amount, I've contacted them and like, hey, I can't offer anything, guaranteed, but if there's something extra you guys want, I'll do what I can. Again, if it really takes off, then I can add larger perks and add people to that retroactively.
Yeah, it's like so dig deep, grab $10. That's not a lot of money. That's a couple of drinks. That's a drink out in some places in Toronto, and then you're a part of the Crazy Cacao Homebrew Club.
Mm-hmm.
That's that was the Crazy Cacao Culture Kickstarter Homebrew Club right there.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I'm not saying that again. That's for sure.